Hey guys, it's Alex from Active Capture, and I'm really excited to share this special episode with you. Miranda and I drove from San Francisco, California to Rochester, New York in our effort to move across the country. We didn't want to make Felix sit in the car for the 40 hours it takes to drive, so we got him a ticket and he flew back to New York with my mom. The next morning, we packed as much into the car as we possibly could. We thought we had a lot, and then we saw this crazy budget truck with mattresses hanging off the back. Anyway, it was just me, my wife, and the open road, and we were ready to go on an adventure. Our first stop was Reno. We dodged rattlesnakes and started on our first 4 hours of driving. We picked the shortest drive for the first day, just to warm up. By the time we got to Reno, it was dark, and the city was lit up beautifully. Circus Circus is a really cool hotel, but because we got there so late, most of the attractions were abandoned or not staffed. I didn't get to shoot a lot of film while we were at Circus Circus, but I did get some nice photos with my Pixel 3 XL. One weird thing that happened at Circus Circus is that we got a room that somebody already had, or they didn't clean after somebody had left. So by the time that we had gotten that all resolved and gotten a new room, it was already really late, and we didn't get to shoot as much as we wanted. But I did get some cool photos of the casino area and the arcade with nobody in them. We spent the night in Reno, and we got back on the road first thing in the morning. Reno looked a lot different during the day. We were really starting to push out into the desert, and it was starting to feel less and less like home. At one point, we had to pull over because our roof rack bag was making so much noise in the wind. We did get some cool photos while we stopped, though. I really like these. They're some of my favorite from the trip. I'm saying it's tunnel time here. We were really excited for the tunnel. I'm pretty sure this was the only one the entire drive. Out in the distance, we saw something weird. Was it snow? No, it was salt. We had made it to the Utah Salt Flats, and it was so cool. We couldn't believe our eyes. White as far as you could see. We were so amazed we forgot to take any film photos while we were here. I couldn't believe it. Way to go, Alex. Miranda and I were so happy to finally get a break and see something worth seeing. Again, while I didn't shoot that much on film, we did get some amazing photos with the Pixel 3. Look how windy it is. I mean, it's so windy. The only thing that you could hear while you were on the salt flats was the wind roaring across the plains. I throw my hat up here just to show you how far it was blown by the wind. The salt was literally as far as you could see. We spent the night in Salt Lake City and got up the next day to start another 8 to 10 hours worth of driving. There wasn't much notable on this leg of the trip, but we did stop at a super nice lake that was right on the edge of the highway. Finally, I felt inspired to break out the camera and shoot some film, especially the Kodak Ektachrome. We took some Polaroids and instant film for fun as well. I snapped a couple shots with my cell phone and we were back on the road. Cheyenne, Wyoming was next on our list. When we were about halfway there, we came to a rest stop and it really started to dawn on us just how far from home we actually were. It was grass as far as the eye could see. Telephone poles would stretch out for miles in front of you. I had to snap a couple photos while we were here. The Polaroids make a fun comparison. We spent the night in a Super 8 in Cheyenne, Wyoming. There was a train track nearby, so we got some cool photos of Miranda next to the train. I wish I could have spent more time recording and taking photos around the bridge and the tracks, but we had to get back on the road. I did break the Instax Mini out while we were downstairs doing some laundry. I really like the shots that we got down here. Finally, we had made it. We had a sign to confirm our suspicion. You are nowhere. Seeing that and looking around had such an impact, I just knew I had to get a photo on every medium and every film that we had. I think this was in Nebraska. At this point, the drive was starting to get really monotonous. As far as you could see, it was flat. We stopped at this scenic outlook only to be disappointed by miles and miles of grass. We were so far in the middle of nowhere that the coolest thing around to see was this arch that stretched over the highway. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm definitely sure it had a gift shop. We decided to pass on that amazing opportunity and continue onwards. I think the most exciting thing that happened to us on this leg of the trip was the rain. Thank God I had Miranda with me. I tried to drive as much as I could. As we got about halfway through the drive, I was really starting to need to take some breaks. Once again, we stopped at a random rest stop, and I took the opportunity to take a couple photos. I think I got some cool ones with the Polaroid 600 here of Miranda waiting for me so that we could leave. Night had fallen, and we had noticed the flashing red lights in the background in every direction that we looked. It dawned on us that these must be windmills. There were hundreds and hundreds of them as far as the eye could see. We stopped at a rest stop to get a better vantage point. Isn't this a nice rest stop?
That's a nice rest stop.
You could really see them out there in the distance. I tried to take multiple photos of them, but none of them ever really came out, and I didn't have the time to set up a long exposure. I snapped a quick photo of this lonely tree, and we got back on the road. After getting some gas, we spent that night in Cedar Rapids and the next night in Cleveland. Between the two, there wasn't much of interest, so I'm going to just jump ahead to Cleveland. Cleveland is a beautiful city, and I've spent a lot of time here growing up. One of my favorite places to visit is a small park right by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You have a great viewpoint of the city. The park is open all day and all night, and there's always a gentle breeze rolling in off of the lake. In this instance, I really liked how the FP4 did over how the Ektachrome did. I just couldn't get the exposure right. It just goes to show, despite how well Ektachrome can perform, it's also very finicky. A couple more Instax photos, and we were back on the road. After a few more hours of driving, we were so excited to be at Niagara Falls together. We even bought shirts. We didn't get any time to rest. We hopped in the car and headed down to North Carolina to visit some family I hadn't seen in a really long time. It was nice to see our son again. We missed him so much. While we were in North Carolina, I shot the rest of the film. We didn't want to waste any, and I hadn't had the chance to send the film in yet, so it seemed like a good opportunity to grab a few more shots. We're going to do a quick fast forward here. Summer.
Is that more train? Down
through fall.
Have a great day. Happy Halloween.
Through winter. And through spring. And that brings us to now. Here's an episode we were just shooting at Lake Ontario. I hope that helps fill in the blanks about where we've been and what we've been up to. Life has been crazy hectic, and we're finally just starting to feel like things are settling down. I'm so excited to be able to bring active capture back, and I'm excited to talk to you all again. I hope you enjoyed the film, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button. Let other people know you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get notified when we post new episodes. Now that this is out of the way, I can start working on the backlog of videos that I've been shooting since we got to Rochester. Thanks so much, guys. Until next time.